Hi everyone, we are here to demonstrate what's going to happen with our cellulite treatments with our CelluSlim. I wanted to educate you guys first on a little bit of what cellulite is. The topic of this treatment is all about it's fascia, not fat. Cellulite is not a fat issue. So I want to show you a few things here. So when somebody comes in and they want a treatment done for CelluSlim, we have to look at how the deep of the dimpling is, which are actually fascia bands pulling from the inside. So if you have any type of dimpling like this, what we're looking for is not so much to lift and tighten the skin, which may look nice in the beginning. What we're looking for is to actually break up the bands that are happening. You could be someone who maybe sits at a computer all day and doesn't get a lot of movement through here. What we're going to be doing with the CelluSlim is actually moving a lot of the lymphatic drainage out, which is the fluid that is hanging out around those bands that needs to get moved out. Even if you're an athlete, a lot of the times you'll get a lot of this stuck in between the fascia and the muscle, and you need to move a lot of that dimpling out of there. So how are we going to do this today? When your client lies down and you're having CelluSlim treatments down, everything's going to look beautiful and flat. We all know that. So what we do here is we're going to go through, estimate how the depth of the level, how many treatments they're going to need by how deep the fascia bands are pulling. Now, one of the things with fascia bands is, let's say we're working on these little areas right through here. What's happening here is fascia is your skin right here and your muscle down here. And if you look, there's a white band underneath, and these fascia bands are holding things together. If they get loose or they get damaged, they start to pull down on the skin, which creates a dimple or a wrinkle. This is not a fat issue. Anybody at any weight, any age can have a cellulite issue. This is not fat, this is a fascia band issue. So once these fascia bands get weak, they start to pull in from the skin, and the skin starts to look dehydrated and it doesn't look as smooth. Our treatment today is going to focus on lymphatic drainage, moving out all of the lymph system through here and breaking up the fascia bands to give her a smooth look. Now, there are things out on the market, and I'm not bashing any products like VeloShape or other tripolar treatments that will lift and tighten the skin. They're generally just tightening the skin and lifting, but they're not actually taking care of the band problem. This is what's going to give you longevity of your treatment, is breaking up the bands. So I'm going to go through, circle some of the problem areas, and then we're going to flip to another portion of where I'm going to show you how we fascia blast the area to break up some of the adhesions, and then we're going to actually go into the CelluSlim treatment of breaking up the lymphatic drainage and moving that so we can get more circulation going through and get healthier bands through here. So I'm just going to circle some of these out and through here. This is also going to be doing body contouring as well. But I'm not moving any type of fat out, but this is definitely going to be doing body contouring because she's going to notice her skin's going to lift instantly because that fluid isn't built up anymore. And now those bands are nice and tight. This is also the same idea as getting a wrinkle, people. This can happen to anybody. It does not matter. The weight does not really matter. Age. It does matter how much water you're drinking. This is a major to-do. If you are not flushing your lymphatic system, then you are going to have major issues, and none of these treatments are going to work for you, and that's not going to work either. So you must flush the system before you come in, flush the system out, and keep that water going. I know you guys hear it all the time, but that's an important part. All right, so the next portion you're going to see me is we're going to actually start breaking up these bands and doing some lymphatic drainage. It's going to be great. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to prep the skin for the cellulite treatment. CelluSlim is going to help smooth the skin, and it's going to do lymphatic drainage, but before we do that, we're going to heat up some of the fascia in through here and start getting those bands a little bit more flexible. All right, so we're just going to add a tiny bit of oil. One of the things I recommend at home is you can dry brush the area to start the lymphatic up. Yes, it does amazing for exfoliation, but believe it or not, if you're consistent with a dry brush on the skin, what you're gonna create is you're gonna create circulation, and you're gonna create some type of movement through there that's gonna start pushing some things out. But you gotta be consistent, and you gotta buy the natural bristle brushes. You can't buy those crap acrylic ones that you get at the store that bend. You gotta buy the natural ones. We have these here. They're only like $12, and even if you go to a store, they're not that expensive either. But if you buy the plastic ones, they don't work. These are great for back acne as well. So anyways, you're gonna go through a couple times a day, and you're gonna brush this upwards, everything coming towards the heart to get that lymphatic drainage going, all right? So you've got some areas that you need to kind of wake up before the treatment actually starts. So we're gonna do about 2 minutes of some fascia blasting in through here, and then I'm gonna show you how the lymphatic drainage goes. So we're gonna be using an actual fascia blaster. They just have a little trademark name. So I'm gonna start in one area and I'm gonna work towards the heart. We're getting things moving. And I'm using a good amount of pressure for this to start breaking things up. Yes, you can bruise from this, but that's okay, because sometimes going into some type of a deep tissue massage or maybe a myofascia release massage, if you guys have ever heard of that, this is the same concept of the idea. All right, so this has just been perfected. All right, so we are gonna do our fascia blasting through here. This is gonna wake up those fibers and start moving those fibers. So I was just telling my client how this works. So I want you to think about what fascia is. Fascia is when you are taking a chicken breast apart, right? You're taking a chicken breast apart, and in between the chicken breast, you've got the chicken breast itself, then there's the skin, and then there's that thin layer of white, thin tissue in between. That is the fascia bands. That's your fascia. So it's keeping the skin and the muscle together. If that teeny tiny little film of skin is not healthy, then you got dimpling, and then you got cellulite, then you got a lymphatic drainage problem, and then on top of that, you have wrinkles. So, or skin elasticity loss. You've got to keep it together. All right. So dry brushing, great to help start moving out a lot of that lymphatic drainage, circulation, and of course exfoliation, making the top layer of the skin look nice. If you have crepey skin, that's a great way, and do a lot of heavy moisturizing. Now, the body's job is to excrete oils and sweat. You can only bring so much moisture into your skin topically, because that's not its job. It's not its job to suck in. Think about when you go swimming or when you take a shower. You're basically waterproof, right? None of that stuff is coming in. So when you have these style of treatments and you think that you're gonna buy some magical cellulite cream, it doesn't work. It's only gonna work for 24 hours because it's topically doing it, but it's not doing anything for the fascia bands. And again, radio frequency is for tightening of the skin. It's not really gonna help with the band issue. It'd be great in conjunction with what we're doing, but I don't wanna do that. You notice every time I'm fascia blasting here and doing a deep massage, I'm following it up with my hands to push everything towards the heart. When we do CelluZoom, we are bringing everything up towards the glutes as well. Even if you don't have that much issue on the cellulite on the glutes, we're bringing this up because we want to contour it and we want to give her the lift at the same time. That's one of the cool things about it. All right, so we fascia blasted her, got things nice, warm, moving. The next portion of this segment, I'm going to show you how we do some lymphatic drainage. This is important to keep up with the fascia blasting if you are an athlete or you are someone who sits and doesn't get a lot of movement. This is also really good if you have a lot of edema issues, because we're going to start moving a lot of that out. Next step. Okay guys, here we go. CelluSlim right through here. All right, so we've got infrared light and we've got the blue LED lights coming through here. This is what's going to heat up some of the tissue, break up the adhesions of the fascia bands, and the most important part is move that lymphatic drainage out. This is the best part of this. When you come in, we start these on 3 different levels, kind of a small, medium, high. You work your way up to the high. This is a client who's already done a few of them, so we're gonna start moving things out and in. I want everything moving up towards the heart. Let's get you going here. Where's my press button? Press harder. There we go. There's one. So you see how the redness is starting to come out? It's kind of hard with my light here. This is also going to heat up the tissue. So we're going to start from the bottom. We're going to bring it up, right? We're going to generally stay in one area for a little while. So I know right now it looks pretty simple that the balls are just kind of moving and rotating, but the science behind this is that we are moving this stagnant lymphatic drainage fluid out. And I gotta say, so we do these treatments 2 times a week because you gotta stay on top of it. At home, I always recommend doing some maintenance of some type of dry brushing in between to maintain your results. Lotion is always good to keep it hydrated, but again, a lotion is not a miracle cream itself. So as we're going through, I'm going to kind of warm things up, and then I'm going to go a little bit slower and a little bit slower. Fascia bands are moving. Fascia bands are starting to break out. we're going to start moving and shaking out those fascia bands. So in between that fascia bands, you got stagnant lymph fluid that's been there, right? So A, you're starting to drink your water before you come in for your appointment because that's going to help. Then you possibly did some dry brushing before you come in, so that's going to help. But the portion and the secret of this is to move the lymphatic fluid out of the system. If it's just going to stay there, you're not going to bring your skin back to where it needs to be, and it's going to look bulky, and it's going to look lumpy. I'm going to bring this way so you guys can see a little bit better. It's going to look lumpy. You don't want lumpy. We want tightening of the skin. We want tightening of the fascia bands. So we do each leg for about 30 minutes, depending on the area, or depending on how big the size of the leg is, or depending on how deep the adhesions are. So we kind of overlap the area, keep going up and up. After we would move, say the problem area is the thigh, then we're going to do some extra contouring towards the glutes, but we're not there yet. I want to move this fluid out first, going towards her heart, and then we'll start working on the glutes themselves. You can also portion this in with fat freezing. Fat freezing would be awesome with this. However, they can't be done on the same day just because this is going to heat up the tissue. And when we are doing our cryo skin, we are keeping the skin in that area cold as possible. But when you're doing cryo skin, if you've ever come for a consultation or if you've ever seen any of our videos, we always talk about doing a lot of water because you've got to flush it out of your lymphatic system. That's what that is too. That one's killing out the fat cells, and then you excrete it when you use the restroom. So both of them could increase urine flow. You could possibly have a little bit of bruising with this, but not a ton. You'll have a little bit of mild redness when you're done with this. That's going to last for about 10 or 15 minutes. A lot of people feel like this is a really nice deep tissue massage. And when I'm doing this, I am applying pressure to this because we want to get down. I'm not just lightly leaving it here. I'm moving it around. So then what we'll do is we'll kind of come in and we'll contour on the glutes, especially if you have maybe like the hip dips that people are going and getting filler on. Ridiculous. Don't put that stuff in your body. All right, so we're gonna start contouring in through here. So we're gonna do each side for about 30 minutes, and then we're gonna finish with another round of fascia blasting, just for about 2 minutes. And then we're gonna tell our client to go home, drink some water, and do possibly 10, 15 minutes of just some type of walking today, just to help remove some of her fascia bands out. And this is how easy it is. It's very relaxing. You call us for a free consult and we'll tell you what you need. We'll tell you how to treat it. But this is CelluSlim. Easy peasy, smooth, cellulite free, and we'll teach you how to maintain it at home. Okay? Thanks for tuning in. When you're done with her leg, then I'm going to let you take over for here. It's actually only like 10 more minutes left on this.